My first friend came and expressed his shock by saying, "I can't believe that you have cancer. I always thought you were so active and healthy." He left and I felt alienated and somehow very different. My second friend came and brought me information about different treatments being used for cancer. He said, "Whatever you do, don't take chemotherapy. It's a poison." He left and I felt scared and confused. My third friend came and tried to answer my whys with the statement, "Perhaps God is disciplining you for some sin in your life." He left and I felt guilty. My fourth friend came and told me, "If your faith is just great enough, God will heal you." He left and I felt my faith must be inadequate. My fifth friend came and told me to remember that all things work together for good. He left and I felt angry. My sixth friend never came at all. I felt sad and alone. My seventh friend came and held my hand and said, "I care, I'm here, and I want to help you through this." He left and I felt loved. So, you want to be a seventh friend? Whether you're a new volunteer, considering being a volunteer, or a longtime seventh friend, it's important to evaluate or reevaluate your current situation and your motivation for volunteering. Are you ready? Are you physically able? Are you available? What are your motives? When we reach out to others, of course we do receive in return, but being the hero should not be our main motivation for volunteering. One of our highest callings as human beings is to reach out and help other people. Love in its truest form requires action. So when we reach out and serve someone according to their needs, we are exercising love and compassion. We want you to be whole physically, emotionally, and spiritually before you begin giving of yourself to others. If you sense that you are still in need of help, then maybe this isn't the right time for you. Your tank needs to be full first. We ask that any cancer survivor to be at least 6 months out of treatment before they volunteer. Caregivers fall under the same criteria. Are you ready to dedicate some time for volunteering? We are very cognizant of everyone's individual schedules and what other commitments they may have, but we want you to be an active part at Victory, as much as you would like to be. We have different avenues of volunteering, be it one-on-one with patients in the treatment room, the hospitality center, the women's boutique, or behind-the-scenes tasks here at Victory House. Since we have such a small staff, we need assistance in many areas and could not do what we do without our wonderful volunteers. Socrates said, "You must first know yourself before you can understand others." You should have an idea of who you are, how you react in certain circumstances. Consider your particular set of skills and abilities, and together we can place you where you can most effectively serve. We want you to thrive. Volunteering should be natural and enjoyable to you, and not a hardship. As a seventh friend volunteer, we have to be willing to make the commitment to walk alongside people during their cancer journey. You may be ahead of them in your journey, reaching back with a hand, saying, "I've gone through this, and although I don't know exactly what you're feeling, I know some of what you're feeling. There was hope for me, and there's hope for you. We will walk beside you if you allow us to." For the newly diagnosed person, you can tell them that you have rounded that bend, and although this is not easy, they can get through it. You can offer them so much hope. Be sensitive to them. Listen with your heart and share the things you need to share, as long as it's not all about you. Can you share your faith? If they ask for the reason behind your hope, then by all means, yes, as long as you're not trying to coerce them. If they ask you to pray with them, then that's fine. You can pray a quiet, short prayer with them to give comfort and strength, to pray that the doctors have wisdom, but don't make a production out of it and embarrass them in front of others. If you've never had cancer, the best way to reassure a patient is to say, I don't know exactly what you're feeling, but I want you to know that there is hope, and we're going to walk beside you during your journey. We'll help get you through this. As a seventh friend, what you are considering doing can be a real lifeline to those going through cancer. It can mean everything to someone struggling to know that there are resources available to help them. Support groups, one-on-one counseling, transportation, grocery assistance, and our prayer team. Know your tendencies. It's easy to get caught up in caring for others and get a little too involved. You have a desire to reach out above and beyond, but be careful that you don't become so burdened down with giving to others that you wear yourself out. Remember, God didn't make us general manager of the universe. We sometimes think we have to do it all, but the truth is we are not in charge of the world. Prune your life. Sort out the things that may be good, but are taking time away from the more vital things in your life. We definitely don't want to burn you out. Take care of you so that you have more of you to give. Keys to success as a volunteer: celebrate the moments, maintain balance, build relationships, travel, and develop your hobbies. Remember, we should have a life outside of cancer. Don't lose the lesson we've learned, the necessity of enjoying every day and living life to the fullest. Someone once said, when we ask ourselves which persons in our lives mean the most to us, we often find it is those who, instead of giving much advice, solutions, or cures, have chosen rather to share our pain and to touch our wounds with a gentle and tender hand. The friend who can be silent with us, who can tolerate not knowing, not curing, not healing, and face with us the reality of our powerlessness. That is the friend who cares.
It's been said that real medicine doesn't just come in a pill. So what is good medicine? Good medicine is about relationships. Patients can love or hate their medical team based on their bedside manner. So we need to learn to serve patients according to who they are, not according to who we are. Good relationships involve communication. Communication is 37% tone, 53% body language, and only 10% words. While we think communication is mainly what we say, it's also what we don't say, or how we say it. 70 to 90% of meaning is held in nonverbal communication. So be careful of your tone and your body language, and make them match the words that you say. Pay attention to the patient. Use eye contact. It conveys the message that they are important. Observe if the patient is interested in what you're saying. If they seem tired, don't overwhelm them. If they're animated and engaged, then visit with them, but let them set the agenda for your conversation. And look at them. See if they're tiring. See if they're trying to be nice and not stop you, but are not really interested in what you're saying. Remember, it's said that fish and company stink after a short while, so don't outwear your welcome. Don't give advice or think you have to have all the answers for every question. Accept your limitations. Be real. Say, I'm sorry for what you're going through. I don't know the answer, but I want you to know that we're going to get through this together. That's what we're here for, to offer hope and encouragement. Definitely don't take away someone's hope, but also don't give them false hope. Don't say everything's going to be okay, even though you should be appropriately positive. Be honest, and sometimes you just need to be quiet. When you don't know what to say, don't use cliches. There's a story that Chuck Swindoll tells about a little boy who lost his next-door neighbor playmate in an accident. He told his mom, "I'm going over to visit Mrs. Smith," and his mom let him go. Pretty soon he came back and she said, "What did you tell Mrs. Smith?" He said, "I didn't tell her anything. I just crawled up on her lap and sat there and let her cry." Don't give medical advice. That's not our role. But encourage the people to communicate with their own doctor and medical team. If they ask you a medical question, say, "I can understand why you'd want to know that, but you really need to ask your doctor or your nurse about it." Don't tell war stories. No play-by-play experiences about your friend's second cousin's third wife who had the same cancer as you do and went through a horrible amount of treatment and then she died. Remember, it's easy to bring our own biases and opinions into the situation. For example, if we have strong feelings about a certain doctor or something that we heard about a certain doctor. All that matters is the patient has confidence in his or her own doctor. It's the patient's choice, and it's the patient's journey, and we need to support them and be careful what we say. If you're sharing your burdens with the patient, now they have to carry their burden and your burden. We're there to listen to them. Listen twice as much as you talk. In fact, if you're talking more than 10% of the time, you're probably talking way too much. Listening is a gift. When you give a gift to someone, the attention's on the gift and on the person receiving it, not on the giver. When we're listening, we have to try hard to pay attention and not let our mind wander. Someone has said you shouldn't let your mind wander. It's much too small to be left out alone. Remember, it's not about us and our story. It's about them. Listening goes a long way in helping someone's pain or anger. It's one of the most important things that we can do for another person. Don't come on too strong physically either. Hug or pat with care. Remember that treatment can heighten skin sensitivities, so patients may be hurting all over. So use a gentle handshake, not a knuckle crusher. Some chemos make people break out on their hands, and maybe they have neuropathy, so that's another issue, so be careful. Also, use common sense for infection control. Be sure to disinfect your hands if you're shaking hands with multiple patients or touching them in some way, because we don't want to carry any germs from one person to another. As you may know, HIPAA is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, a law that protects a patient's personal health information. While we are not required to abide by this law, because we serve patients in medical facilities that are bound by the laws, we have chosen to abide by it as well, in order not to jeopardize our trust and relationship with them. Weigh what you share very carefully. Don't let it turn into gossip. Avoid wearing perfume and aftershave because smells can bother those on treatment. Make sure your breath smells good. Use gum or mints, since food or beverages can travel with us. A good frame of reference when relating to patients is to remember the scripture, "Whoever humbles himself as this little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." Children are honest. They are who they are. They don't have any pretenses. They laugh with others, and they follow the lead of other people. So keep your sense of humor, but remember that not everyone has one or has the current capacity to laugh at anything during a difficult time in their life. I remember when Mom was in the hospital taking chemo, and I went to the window and looked out, and I saw a family getting in their car, and they were all laughing and having a wonderful time, and it made me angry because our world had turned upside down and there was nothing funny about it. We're instructed to laugh with those who laugh, weep with those who weep. So stay upbeat and follow the patient's lead. Remember, we're there to multiply their joys and divide their sorrows. Children don't have anything to prove. They just want to help. They're tender and they care about other people that get hurt. and they don't care who you are or who you're not. They're mostly just interested in candy. We as human beings have all been wounded in some way, whether it's cancer or something else, but we tend to hide our wounds so others can't see them. It's a lot easier to go on and live like you've forgotten about what hurt you and put it in the past and not do anything with it. It's a lot harder to do what you're going to do by using your experience, staying in the experience, and helping other people along the way. I've heard it said that wounded soldiers serve the best, and I wondered what that really meant, and then it dawned on me that wounded soldiers are wounded because they've been on the front lines. They have been in the thick of the battle, and so they know what it's like.
Victory in the Valley offers multiple opportunities for volunteering. One of the most traumatic occurrences during the cancer journey is the loss of hair that often accompanies treatment. Part of our self-image is wrapped up in our appearance, and this change can be devastating. Our women's boutique has an incredible supply of wigs that are styled and available free of charge to any woman who is going through treatment for cancer. What a joy it is to provide a wig that is just the right style and color to someone who has one less thing to worry about and one more reason to feel that someone cares. In addition to wigs, our boutique also has a supply of hats, scarves, jewelry, and skincare products donated to offer to cancer patients. The transportation program provides much more than just a ride to treatment for someone facing cancer. It's an opportunity to receive hope, encouragement, and support from someone who truly understands much of what the patient is going through. The transportation program provides a ride to treatment for cancer patients who are unable to drive themselves, or who would have to rely on a family member or friend for a ride. This service is offered at no charge. Our transportation vans have been purchased with generous donations provided through fundraising efforts of caring individuals and organizations. One of Victory in the Valley's favorite programs is our Canine Friends. Handlers and their certified therapy dogs volunteer to participate in this exciting outreach. These caring volunteers offer visitation free of charge at our hospitality center, the Medical Arts Tower, Victory House, support groups, and special events upon request. Our food pantry provides much-needed non-perishable groceries to qualifying patients currently on treatment. Our hospitality center was established to serve the needs of all cancer patients and their supporters waiting to see any of the doctors in the Heritage Plaza building. Located on the 4th floor, adjacent to the Cancer Center of Kansas, the hospitality center has been designed to be a place of hope, filled with a warm and relaxing atmosphere where cancer patients and caregivers can enjoy refreshments, reading, table games, puzzles, and visiting with other cancer patients and survivors. The Hospitality Center is coordinated by our staff and hosted by a large number of our volunteers, most of whom are cancer survivors. The staff and volunteers make every effort to create an atmosphere of compassion and caring. We also actively seek to provide opportunities to provide a listening ear, encouragement, and hope. Often, it's the waiting for a doctor's appointment or test results that is one of the hardest times for the patient and family.
I'm Charles Pfeiffer. I'm a staff member here at Victory in the Valley. I've been working with Victory in the Valley a little over 2 years now. My journey with cancer started a little over 5 years ago. I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma cancer, which is a blood cancer. And through my journey, I've been through 2 stem cell transplants and 4 years of chemotherapy. 3 of those years of my chemotherapy were here in Wichita, and that's how I became affiliated with Victory in the Valley. During those 3 years, as I received my treatment here at Cancer Center of Kansas, I became aware of the staff and the volunteers here at Victory in the Valley, and I was always so impressed with their mission and just the kindness of the people, the volunteers that I met. and I always thought I'd want to be a part of that someday. Well, I took an early retirement about 3 years ago, and I started volunteering here at Victory in the Valley. And after about 3 months of volunteering, I joined the staff. And it's just been such a blessing for me to get to know the patients, the caregivers, the staff here at Victory in the Valley. It's just been a real pleasure and a blessing for me. I think when I think about what it means for me at Victory in the Valley, I think I get more out of it than maybe the patients or the caregivers. For me personally, I think it allows me to one, interact with the patients, and I feel I can understand what they're going through as a new patient. When you're first diagnosed with cancer, there's the fear, the uncertainty, just the feeling of being overwhelmed, and I've been through all of that. And so when I see a new patient here that is about to meet with a doctor who has been newly diagnosed, I feel like I can relate to them and hopefully provide a little bit of hope in that regard. And so that's for me personally, that's a real blessing, and I hope for them it helps that patient give them some confidence and hope themselves. And when I can see a patient that's gone through a long period of chemotherapy and they say, Charles, this is my last day of chemo, that's, for me, that's really rewarding. And I think that's what Victory in the Valley means to me. Its mission, it's been around for so many years, over 34 years, and I think hopefully it's something that people find, our patients and caregivers find a place where they can find rest and relaxation, and again, an opportunity to speak to people that know a little bit about cancer treatment. So I hope I can provide some value in that regard.
And I come in here quite often because I love coffee, and Charles makes wonderful coffee here. And so I just have met a lot of folks up here that, in fact, my aunt who passed away a number of years ago actually came up here with my cousin on numerous occasions and benefited from the Victory in the Valley. And so I'm also have a co-worker from Boeing that I work with for many years that works here as a volunteer, and I got to talk to her about her situation and how she is doing volunteer work here. And also another lady, friend of ours from church, that brings her dog up here and circulates among the people that are here. So, but I appreciate Victory in the Valley a lot for what they provide, snacks and things, and a quiet room. And if you've been up here, as we have many times, the waiting room is very noisy and a lot of people moving around, but the opportunity to come here and even sit in the corner in a vibrating chair occasionally gives opportunity to kind of take a quiet approach to the day as my wife is getting her treatments today. So, but I do appreciate all the hard work that's put in here by the volunteers, and I've being here every day of the week for every 3 weeks. I get to know nearly all the volunteers that are here during the week, and so I do take advantage of coming in here. And I came in this morning and found out that they wanted to maybe ask me some questions, but I do thank the folks here that are responsible for providing this facility here on the 4th floor. And there are numerous people that come in here every day, I know, waiting treatments, following treatments, and so I'm very thankful for that. My father, in fact, passed away of colon cancer about 12 or 13 years ago in another state, and I, of course, didn't know about his situation until he had the cancer. But having this place to come, I think, makes a big difference for families, and we've taken advantage of it, and certainly appreciate all the volunteers that come in and spend their time to help other people. And I think one of the things I noticed on the volunteers, most of them have gone through treatments or had family members that have had treatments, and therefore they can, we can kind of comfort other people and encourage them along the way, face the problems they have. And sometimes I find that we have little problems when we find other folks. Even this morning, I met a man whose wife has cancer and his granddaughter has cancer. So he's here with his wife, and so I'm just thankful for all the people that are associated with Victory in the Valley, and I certainly recommend it when folks come up here to stop in and take advantage of the opportunities they have.
Okay. Hi, I'm Wanda Zinn. I'm a cancer patient here at the Cancer Center of Kansas. This is my second round with cancer, actually. I was cancer-free for 8 years. This time it's a little tougher cancer, and so Victory in the Valley to me was the place I went to because I knew I was going to need a little more help this time. And so as soon as I found out I was going to lose my hair, I remember I got to go and get a wig, and they were so helpful. And they have so many wigs, and so I get people who ask me who has done my hair because they want to go there because my wig is so pretty. Now I don't have a wig now because I was out of treatment for a while, but it's probably going to go back on very soon. The other thing they did for me was they gave me a lot of encouragement through one of the ladies that work there, because she also had the same type of cancer I have, and so she could really encourage me. Also, their bag of goodies is just great. I mean, the bear is very cute, but that quilt that they provide, can I show it? If I don't mess up my microphone, is just gorgeous. So they let you pick a design, and this one is my favorite because purple is me. And then, of course, they come every time I have a chemo treatment. There's someone who comes in and offers me snacks and encouragement. And there's always so much information here in the hospitality room. Just if you want information, it's available. So that's what Victory in the Valley means to me.
I like to come here to Victory Valley to just relax. I was actually taking a little nap when I was asked to do the interview, and it just helps me to relax because I know I'm here. He's just right around the corner and on the same floor. And John, the host here, he is just very personable. He makes everybody feel very comfortable. And we just appreciate the snacks, the coffee, the drinks, the refreshments that they have, as well as the comfortable recliners, because we do not get to relax a whole lot when you're a caregiver to someone who needs intensive care at home, as well as when we come here for his treatments. And I'm also a minister, and I traveled a lot before this, and ever since my husband we found out he had cancer, I don't get to travel very much anymore. So we have to stick close to home, which is fine, but it just really changes a person's lifestyle for the type of cancer that my husband has. And the past, going almost a full year now, when we found out that he had initially had cancer. And when you're getting in your retirement years, you don't necessarily see this coming. And so you call it a journey. A lot of people, you hear them say, well, we're on our journey. It truly is a journey, because you never know from one day to the next what that journey, that path of that journey is going to take you to the right, or it's going to take you to the left. But we just appreciate Victory Valley and the floor that they have here for the families to come and just relax. And it is really very comforting to be here and to have the hospitality that they have for not just the patients, but for family members and caregivers alike.
So you're here getting cancer treatment, and well, you know, I think I know you. Don't you go to? I think you go to my church. You know what? We'll just have the church pray for you.
Oh, well,
That-
I don't really feel comfortable doing
Oh,
that.
well, you know, everybody needs prayer, and so the whole
Yeah.
congregation would want to know about you.
How's it going today?
Good. Don't we know each other? Do you go to my church?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've seen you there.
Okay, I thought
Yeah.
so. I thought
Actually,
so.
I think we had a short conversation at coffee hour sometime back.
Okay. Well, would you mind putting me on the prayer list? I'm not sure I'll be at church anytime soon.
If it's
but-
all right with you, I'd love to get you on the prayer list.
Okay.
So who's your doctor?
Dr. Jones?
Oh, really?
Why do you say that?
Well, you know, I've just heard a few things, you know, working up in this area and all, but I'm sure
Yeah?
he'll be fine. I'm sure he's fine.
I don't. Are you sure? What do
Well,
you,
I've heard that he probably gives too much chemo, but you know, who knows? I mean, he's probably pretty good.
well, my doctor is Dr. Jones. Do you know anything about him?
You know, I've heard of Dr. Jones, and I've heard a lot of good reports with him about him.
Okay.
If you have any questions or anything, I'd suggest you talk to your nurse or Dr. Jones in person.
Okay.
But I don't have any information other than that.
Okay. Well, thank you.
But I think you're in good hands if you feel comfortable.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what kind of cancer do you have?
Breast cancer?
Really? Oh. Well, you know, my mom had breast cancer, and she
Oh.
went through chemo just like you are. And then she had to have radiation. You're going to have that too.
Yeah.
And then she had surgery and went okay for a little while, but then she died.
Mm.
Well, not everybody's like that.
How you doing today?
Well, not very good today.
Well, you'll have days like that, I know. I've been down that road.
You're a cancer survivor?
Yes, I'm 12 years out now.
Well, how did you do?
Well, it's a rough road, but it's a road that we all have to travel. We all handle the chemo or whatever we're going through a little different. It depends on you as an individual, your body, and how it reacts. So you'll do fine, I'm sure.
Okay.
And if
thank
you have any real questions, be sure and talk to your nurse first. And if she doesn't answer them, talk to your doctor.
Okay.
So this is your first or second treatment? Is that your real hair there?
Yeah, it's my second treatment.
Oh, your hair's going to come out anytime now. It just falls out. I mean, really fast. You'll be in the shower or brushing your hair and it'll just be gone. But don't worry, we have a whole women's boutique over there with wigs and turbans and scarves and hats
Oh,
and everything you need. So you'll be fine.
so I can just go over there whenever I want to?
Yeah, just come on over
Like
anytime and
Today
just drop
after
in. Sure.
treatment?
Yeah, just drop in and we'll see what we can do to get you fixed up because that's what we're
Okay.
there for.
Well, I'm told that my hair's probably going to fall out.
Okay. Well, we have a ladies' boutique at Victory in the Valley.
Oh,
They have a
okay.
number of wigs there. I don't know, maybe 75 or 100.
Okay.
All you need to do is call down, make an appointment. They have 2 or 3 different stylists. They'll set you up with one, and you can go down there and get fitted.
Okay. Is there a charge for that?
No charge.
Okay, great.
Just be sure you let them know in advance so they can get prepared for you.
Okay.
So listen, it's been nice visiting with you, but I'm going to have to run, honey. And, you know, if you need anything at all. Oh, is that your surgery side?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you have a port right there, don't you? Well, that's really good you have one because it sure makes things go easier. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Is there anything else I can do for you today?
No, that's good.
Well, God bless you.
Well, thank you.
You take care, and I'll see you next time.
Okay.
Remember that God doesn't comfort us to make us comfortable, but rather to make us comforters. You've given of yourself, or will be giving of yourself, to benefit someone else because of your own journey, and that's sensational. You are someone's ray of hope. A timely word spoken is powerful, uplifting, and makes such a difference. Thank you for touching people's lives in ways that you probably will never know. We appreciate you for being that ray of hope and that important lifeline in someone else's life.